Hello, and welcome to A Place to Call Home. It's our weekly show where we talk about everything. Today's topic, the flood 2016, and my very special guest live in studio with me today are the Boudreaux brothers. We have State Senator Gerald Boudreaux from District 24, and we have Lafayette City Parish Councilman Kenneth Boudreaux. And we are here to talk about some things about the flood, especially about the Derby Heights neighborhood, the neighborhood that both these gentlemen represent. So welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
To both of you. It's
Pleasure
good to
be
have
here.
you
Yeah.
here. And it's been kind of challenging, but we've made it through. And that is a good thing.
It is.
We made it through, and I know that from the city parish side, I have to say parish because actually that little area is in the parish of Lafayette.
That is correct. The unincorporated part of the parish.
That's right, and we're talking about I know that both of you were with the governor today as he toured that little neighborhood. He was here earlier in the month and toured the Youngsville area, I believe. And now it was our turn on that side of town today. And we are certainly so proud of both of you and what you are doing and how you are representing the district. Now, some people may disagree with me because a lot of people want help microwave, quick, fast, in a hurry. They want it here, now, today, not tomorrow. Some residents I was talking to, and I've been getting emails and messages and on Messenger, and they were asking the question, have you seen, Miss Portia, have you seen Kenneth Boudreaux? Have you seen him down there? And I said, yes, I've been talking to Kenneth since the beginning of this thing. And I know one of the first things you told me, Mr. Kenneth Boudreaux, was that we're going to wait, Portia. You said that I've collected some things and we're going to wait until everybody else leaves, the Salvation Army, the Red Cross, and everybody else. When all those resources are gone, then we'll come in and we'll do some things.
Yes. Well, let me say this, Portia. First of all, I appreciate you thanking the Boudreaux boys and all the other officials and professionals who have been doing things, our first responders. But I know Gerald would agree. We want to thank those citizens who was helping other citizens.
That's right.
Neighbors helping neighbors. It was something the governor shared with us today. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being a voice for that community, being a bridge. We talk about troubled waters, being a bridge that kept communication between officials and the community going. And so many others. You had others of your neighbors who were not only concerned about themselves, but concerned about their neighbors. And they did a great job, whether it was pulling a canoe through the water, whether it was putting sandbags out to try to protect someone's property and valuables, whether it was just feeding someone. So first we want to thank the people for those efforts. But you're absolutely correct. For me, as I was monitoring the contributions, monitoring the efforts, monitoring the response, considering the circumstances, the conditions that was before us, one of the things that I wanted to make sure, because we've seen it in the past, is that we had somewhat of a reserve as it relates to resources. Make sure that we had personnel available at the appropriate time. Because although they are our first responders, even first responders have to proceed with caution as far as retrieving people and other things. So, unfortunately, the waters was high for a long time in that area, which prevented some response. But we just thank God that today, like you said, we could say we made it through, and that a very appropriate response is being given, not only to that area, but all of the affected areas in other parts of North Lafayette Parish, as well as the southern portion of the parish, and our whole state. Because, our friends in Baton Rouge, our family members in Baton Rouge who was impacted. I spoke to someone today from Breaux Bridge. Gerald represents a part of St. Landry Parish that was heavily affected. So I just want to say thank you to those who helped out, who were not in an official capacity, and of course thank those who were in an official capacity, and that it's not over, that now that we've gotten through the most challenging times, the recovery, the rebuild, and everything that's going to have to take place, which is going to take place over the next few months, we're going to continue to be there for that as well.
And I want to say to the senator of my district, Senator Gerald Boudreaux, I am so glad that the governor came. I am so glad that at least you have his ear and that he was attuned to what was going on in that little area and in other areas around. So what was the governor's visit all about today?
It's about showing exactly what type of leader we have. You know, we had a major election in this state last November, and he was the winner of it. But while he was running, he said he was going to do some things. And you know, talk is cheap. So now he's getting a chance to go around the state and do it. I want to echo some of Kenneth's sentiments. First of all, to you for keeping me in the loop on where are our needs. I'm not about photo opportunities. I'm about service and helping people. So you keep it real and you say this is what's going on. And as Kenneth said, the mayor of this city parish, Joe Robideau, is someone who I work with and for, and Kenneth works with in a council capacity. And Terry Landry is the state representative for our area. And the team of Kenneth and Joel and Terry and myself, we wanted to make sure our people's voices were heard. And from the beginning, from day one, one of the things that I wanted to make sure is that we had all the resources. And timing is the most important thing. And we understand the frustration that people go through because I say it every day. Today is you, tomorrow it'll be me. So I want to be treated the same way that I treated you, okay? So we had the resources. We had wildlife and fisheries. You had your personal boat, and not everybody have that luxury, but...
Well, somebody brought me the boat.
Yes, but because you're who you are, you had that. Yeah. But seriously, their wildlife and fisheries came in. We had those resources available. We had whatever it took to make sure that our neighborhood was safe and that our citizens could continue to live. Now, they had to go to work because, just like you, they got to pay the bills. So nobody just stayed in the house and waited for the water to go down. People were still living their lives. And unfortunately, it was a long process. But the recovery, as Kenneth just alluded to, the recovery is the most important part of this. And one of the things that I'm so proud that the governor says everywhere he goes, and the president said it a week and a half ago when he was in Baton Rouge, rather in Zachary. He said, listen, when the cameras leave, these people's houses will not be complete. Their lives will not be back to normal. And that's the part that is so important, that we realize that this is going to take months. And our commitment is that we're going to be here. We're going to provide those resources. We've heard all of the issues, we've heard the complaints, and we've heard the praises. So we're going to continue to move forward. That's not going to deter our ability to serve. And that's what we signed up for, to serve our people. But look, when we have a disaster, I promise you, there are always a lot more benefits that come when you're patient and when you're appreciative. And I promise you, we're going to be a better, a stronger community because of this disaster. And working together, making sure that everyone, we didn't leave anybody behind. I mean, every time I got a call, I responded, okay? And we were able to do things, but moving forward, I promise you we're going to be bigger, better, and stronger.
And I wanted to reassure people today that help is on the way. Help is on the way. Mm-hmm. That's what I believe. That's what I feel. Now, I experienced riding in a boat for 16 days, and the water, it just seemed to just linger and stay. Mm-hmm. Now, Mr. Kenneth Boudreaux, I have to ask you this question. Why was that? I mean, when other neighborhoods seemed to be draining, that little area did not drain. Now, I heard all kinds of things. I heard, well, they could have came and sucked it out. They did that in other parts of town. They used the trucks to come and suck the water out. Why couldn't they do that, Portia, for us? Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know why the water stayed that long.
Well, I could tell you this, and I verified this through our city departments, that there was no local effort to suck water out of any community. That I could assure you. And I'm very confident when I say that if that did take place, that may have been a private resource that a private person may have taken advantage of. I could tell you that we are in a very flat state of Louisiana. Drainage is a significant issue for a number of people. As it relates to this particular rain event and storm event, it was historical in nature. We have all come to agree to that. The year, which is now somewhere in the vicinity of 80 inches of rain, so you have a very saturated system in place already. Our grounds is not able to absorb as much water for various reasons, and that is because of the rain level we've had. But then the river. Okay, what we had here, as I have come to understand it and appreciate it, is that once the river got full, the water has nowhere to go. Okay, and until the river, in the outfalls, the river goes into the basin and the basin goes somewhere else. Until those water levels are able to drop, there's no more capacity. So you have what is called backflow. So once it reaches its peak on how far it could go south, it's going to start rolling back north. And unfortunately, this particular area's location in proximity to the river and where the natural drainage patterns are in the parish of Lafayette, it's right through these communities. The only way to explain it, Portia, is that in a normal situation, the system could handle it. This was truly abnormal and unfortunate in nature. And with that said, if you notice, a lot of the water was in the ditches, the streets, some water did go into some homes, but number one, it was where it was supposed to be. It was in the ditches, in the streets, in the canals. It's just that the capacity was at its max. And we know if we had a glass here on this table, you know, we may want 20 ounces of water, but if we only got a 16-ounce glass, we're going to hold 4 ounces going to be on this table. That's what was left in our neighborhood, unfortunately. And then the rain continued. Just couldn't get a break. It seemed like just when we may have turned the corner on something, you and I were on the phone minute of, here comes the rain, or it was about to rain, or there was 60% in the forecast. So it was unfortunate.
But is
that
this
also-
going to be happening over and over again?
Well,
That's my question.
Yeah, I don't think this rain event happens over and over, but it is, once it happens once, we know that it's possible that it could happen again, right? As far as the drainage in this particular area and as a whole, I think that we go and we look at everything. My attitude is, the mayor president's attitude is, the senator's attitude is, everything is on the table. We got to get through this disaster, and
we are here with the Boudreaux brothers. We have State Senator Gerald Boudreaux, representing District 24, Lafayette City Parish Councilman Kenneth Boudreaux. We're talking about the flood of 2016 and how that impacted so many people in and around Lafayette Parish. Lafayette Parish was declared a disaster area by President Obama, and because of that, there are a lot of resources coming into the area. And I wanted to, I know you had the meeting yesterday, Senator Boudreaux, at the Domain Center for resources that are coming in, but I did want to encourage people and tell them that help, it may be all over, the streets may be dry now, especially in Derby Heights. And you may have gotten a little assistance. They're bringing bleach and plate lunches over and over and over, and water over and over and over again. But real help is on the way. And I know that you had that meeting to offer people resources in that area. And I know a lot of people came to the meeting to be of help. But tell us about some of those.
Well, yeah, in addition to, you talking about resources, and until we got to this point, that we couldn't do a lot. So we have some AmeriCorps volunteers. The governor spoke at their banquet. There are 600 AmeriCorps workers from other parts of the country that are in our state now. One of the things he confirmed today is that he's going to make sure that we get our share, especially in Derby Heights, to help those people who have not even been able to tear out whatever they needed to tear out to get back into their homes. So we have the AmeriCorps, Red Cross is going to be here, and we have a number of businesses. I want to reach out and shout out rather to Courtney Reynolds and the Greater Southwest Black Chamber of Commerce, because what she has done is she's gotten the businesses to step forward who are in this type of work to provide some free assistance to our residents. So there's going to be plenty of help. And one of the commitments all of the elected officials have made is the cameras will be leaving, but the work is not done. The recovery is going to be several months, And in some cases, it might be even longer than that for some people because of finances, because of it. But there will be financing available for those who need help, and there will be manpower and resources so that they can get back in their homes and get their lives back to some form of normalcy.
And let me just add this, because I think one of the things that has been missing, and Gerald could maybe speak to it, is the communication has been great, but you could always have better. I want to encourage those who are listening. If there is a need, don't take it for granted that someone automatically knows about it.
Right, and that people
right.
will come to you.
Right. There are numbers you could call. You could certainly call the council office, and we have some resources that I think will be of benefit. You could call the senator's office, and they have resources and phone numbers. And sometimes it's going to be a matter of putting you in touch with the right people, because as you indicated, the resources are there. The help is here, and more help is coming, but we need to know that someone needs to be connected to something, okay? So I want to just encourage everyone is that Gerald mentioned when we first got started about the patience and the appreciation that needs to remain, and certainly so, but if they could just call and say, look, I don't know if anybody's aware, but this is the need that exists. How do we go about getting that need? I think those things could be taken care of. The governor shared a number of things today that are out there as far as home programs are concerned, making sure that people understand the difference between their FEMA claim and trying to get back into their homes. The part that private insurances may play, those with or without flood insurance. There's so many different statuses that exist. Everybody needs are different. So I would just encourage, make sure that they call someone who knows.
Seek out the resources.
Seek out the resources, and they're available.
The other thing I'll chime in and say that if you are denied by FEMA, that is not the end of the process. It might be because your social security number didn't match up with your name, or your address didn't do this. So just because you get a denial, don't stop there. The other thing I want to just say is that, listen, I understand when people are hurting. They don't want any excuses. They don't want any delays. I said earlier about being patient. But listen, I got to tell you, the role of FEMA is not to build you a brand new house. That's not going to happen. Okay, but now you pay insurance on your house, and then this is a flood, so that's something totally different, okay? And we got to come to respect and appreciate what FEMA is there for. But as a result of that, and as you said earlier, the president declaring us a disaster, there are additional resources. But sometimes we're very critical of the organization FEMA without understanding what their mission is.
Right.
Their mission is not to build a brand new house. Okay, and the only thing that we probably can't control is who you buy your insurance with. So if you have a claim that's being filed with your insurance, you have an agent who you send a check to. You call them every day till they send somebody in. We've gotten some calls about FEMA's not doing this, FEMA's not doing that. That's not FEMA. That's your insurance. So you dealing with somebody local, you get on the phone and tell them you've paid your premium. You expect them to help you through this claim.
And I just wanted to say as well is that this is not Katrina. A lot of people think because it's a disaster, it's been declared a disaster area, that checks are going to be dispersed as they were during Katrina and Rita and Isaac and Gustav. They are not, folk. I know everybody down in my little hometown of Lake Charles got a check for $2,000. And this is not the case this time. It goes by your individual circumstance. There will be inspectors to come in and inspect what you say is your damage. They're going to evaluate your needs, and they're going to distribute checks based on that. I read today that FEMA has already spent about $14 million for
14.9 to date.
$14.9 million to date. Now that includes putting people up in hotels, paying for housing. That includes a whole bunch of other stuff, setting up these disaster centers. That all takes money.
Right. And Portia, if I could add this, some of the things that I have been hearing, a lot of the questions, and Jared, you might have to assist me with this. A one-stop shop is the West University location, 301 West University. And we want to encourage everyone to fill out every single application, registration, claim form that you could possibly fill out. Even if you don't think it's for you, fill it out and let them tell you filled out the wrong form.
And let them
So-
deny you.
Let them
That's
deny
correct.
you, right.
You know?
So that's one thing. The in-home program is, and we're talking about things that are here now and that could put people at ease.
Shelter in place.
Right, if you want to be able to stay in your home, okay, while the repairs are being done by yourself or by your professional hire, there's a way to do that. And there's going to be some information that the senator's office, my office will put out, the governor's office has it as far as an in-home program. I think that's something that is immediate. As of last week, there was less than 100 people still in the shelter. I think I heard today there was less than 50 that they were locating into hotels. But if you have an immediate legitimate housing demand, I think that's something that can be addressed relatively easy. But like you said, like Jerry indicated, your home is not gonna be rebuilt in a week, okay? Everything is not gonna be made whole in 30 days. It just don't work that way, and I'm sorry for that, but that's just the facts. What I wanna make sure that we're doing is the things that are reasonable and which should be done. So if you have a housing need, I think that could be addressed, okay, one way or another. If you have a transportation need, I think that could be addressed in other things, and there's people you could contact for that.
I certainly want to thank you both for coming. I know that people can reach you if they need to, on social media for you, for you to.
Yeah, call me.
Yeah.
267-7520.
Okay. Thank you so much, Senator Boudreaux and Kenneth Boudreaux, here talking about the flood of 2016. It's certainly been my pleasure. You can call me too, or find me on social media. I'm
Or in
Portia
the boat.
Evans. Yeah, or in the boat.
Yeah.
I'm Portia Evans for A Place to Call Home. We love you. Bye-bye.